Welcome to Scattered Travel. I'm Debbie Gerber, your host for a day trip from Florence, Italy to Siena, Italy. Let's spend a day in Siena. Siena makes a great day trip from Florence. You can get there by train. You just go to the train station, get your ticket, find the platform that your train is leaving from, and make sure you get on it in a timely manner. It's well marked and the people are very friendly and helpful. When you arrive in Siena and as you go along, they will both announce the train stops as well as there'll be signs for each of the train stops. So you'll see it outside the window just before you get to the train stop and then when you get there. After you get there, you can go out of the train station across the road and to the building that's right in front of it. And you'll see it here. Go inside that building and down the stairs there is a bus station. And you can buy your ticket there and then get on the bus. And there is a place where you swipe your ticket on the bus, and you need to make sure that you do that. The drivers are also very helpful as well as other people. When you get to Siena, you get off and you start quite a long walk. It is kind of up and down, and they're narrow little streets, and you'll see the entrance to where Siena is from the bus stop. So you go down these narrow little streets.
We are in Siena now. The architecture here is fabulous. Old.
As you walk down these narrow little streets, you're going to come to little openings, little plazas, and they're going to have things like statues in them. One of the statues right here is the she-wolf. She is the one who, in mythology, suckled Remus and Romulus. They were part of the mythology of who founded Rome. And so you'll see that there. If you're into the mythology, you'll recognize that.
This is the statue of the wolf.
Here's another Palazzo Salimbini, that opens up, and then here they are, groups of people just relaxing and gathering and playing games. Today, it's a giant game of chess.
Look at these cute streets. The street goes down to a big plaza. It has little restaurants on the side of it, plants on the side of it. Walk down these narrow little streets past the restaurants. Going to open up into the courtyard or the piazza. It opens up into this huge square. This is where the races used to be held. This is where they hold a race here every now and again.
This is the Piazza del Campo. It was the center of life in Siena. It's built in the shape of a shell, and it looks just like that. The upper part is higher, and it all comes down. It slopes down to a meeting point in the front. Looks just like a shell, has that slope, seems very much like an arena setting. People come here. It's very romantic to sit in the center of or up on the edges of that and just sit there and look at the buildings. It's totally surrounded by buildings, and on the outside edges are all the shops and food stands and places to go and get trinkets, or would have been real shopping back then. As well as you come to the front, there is the tower and the main building in the front. The tower is called Torre del Mangia. It is, you can climb up to the top, see over all of Siena. It used to be kind of like the Fire and Watch Tower. It was built to the same height as the Cathedral of Siena, the Duomo of Siena, and that was supposed to kind of represent that state and religion were, equal. You can climb to the stops. That day we were not able to climb to the top. I understand there's like over 500 stairs to climb to the top, but it's quite beautiful when you get up there. It was an interesting place. There was even this old metal ring iron ring where they would hitch their horses to, and it was fun to see how much that had been used over the years because of the indenting of the stone around it.
Okay, we are here in Siena, and this is where they do the horse races around the outside. This hillside is all paved in places where lovers sit and take a break, and you relax and enjoy yourself and have a little bit. This is an awesome place to be.
Twice a year, they bring in dirt and make a track around the top of around the plaza, and they cover it in dirt, and they have a horse race. It's called the Palio, and twice a year they do this. This is a tradition that's gone on for a very long time, and you can still see the dirt in the cracks from the last one. This plaza is called the Palazzo Pubblico. I try to pronounce these names, but sometimes I have a really rough time. This is a great place to lay and just look at everything. Binoculars are always a good idea. You'll never know when you might use them, and you can get a close-up look at things like the top of the tower that we couldn't get up to by laying on the ground here and using the binoculars. In this square, in this plaza, is a fountain. It's a really cool little fountain. It's called the Fountain of Joy. And the reason it was called the Fountain of Joy was back when the plague happened. There was like 80,000 people that died of the plague in Siena. And in this water fountain, where the water fountain would bring the water and where people could come get water, well, this water fountain had a statue of Venus, not so nearly dressed. And they blamed the plague on that statue, and so it was then removed, and the new artist replaced that with a depiction of the Virgin Mary. And so then it was when it was all done, here came the clean water in, and they had the fountain all fixed, and so they called it the Fountain of Joy. What it is for tourists is a fun place to go and watch the birds. The birds gather around it. They drink out of the fountain. They sit on the little statues, and they turn their heads, and they drink out of the fountain, and it's fun, and they fight over the water. So it's a centerpiece of the plaza, but it is also a kind of a fun place just to go and watch the birds. Here the birds are getting drinks out of the fountain, and the little guy on the top thinks he's king of the hill. Look at him push everybody off. He thinks he's king of the hill. He's just going to stay there, and then he's going to get a drink. Isn't that great? Look at that. Look at him get a drink. Isn't that fun? And he thinks he's king of the hill. You should have seen him bite the other pigeons when they came over to try to take his place. He didn't like that at all. So here's the rest of the fountain.
They must have to fill this up a lot. Oh, look at these two fighting right here. After having a relaxing visit in the Palazzo, we walked back down the narrow streets to find the Duomo of Siena, the Cathedral of Siena. When it came in view, it was beautiful. It is this greenish black marble and white marble stones, and it's quite outstanding. It's well worth the walk that it takes to get to it, as well as you want to make sure that you get a chance to go inside. There may be a wait and there is a fee to go in, but this one is well worth it. Just the mosaics on the floor are worth seeing.
This is a beautiful church. When you look this way, you start to see the dome behind it.
How did they do that? Going up, swirling around. And the other ones are all different too. I know they're all different.
Looks like leaves and vines. If you look carefully, there's a person.
Leaves and vines. And then a reddish colored one. And then it's amazing.
This is the Duomo in Siena.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, we got that one over there has
This column has a person or an animal in each section, I believe. Look at these big marble statues clear up on the building.
Board, carved into the board, exactly the pattern.
Check out this door. It has got figures in it. Here's the close-up of the doors.
Interesting how with the aging of this metal, it actually becomes more visible, doesn't it?
Yeah. The black and white, beautiful marble walkway outside of the cathedral.
I would love to show you the interior of the cathedral, but there are some places that they do ask that we don't take pictures, and I honor that. So if they have any signs or ask that we don't take pictures, I refrain from doing that. So you will have to go and see the inside, but it is worth it. Now, after that bit of walking, there is nothing that I like better for a treat than gelato in Europe, especially in Italy. I just don't think anybody does ice cream that well. So anytime we see a gelato stand, if we got them in it, we grab us a cone. It is smooth and creamy. It is one treat that you have to have when you go to Italy. As we walk back to the bus stop, we pass so many fun little things, little areas that you could walk back in and see fountains and frescoes on the ceilings and beautiful doorways and restaurants and shops. It's a lovely little, almost fairy tale town to walk through. Siena will truly take you back in time. Its architecture, its small streets, its little shops, all of the fountains and statues and churches. You will enjoy Siena. Now, let me just stop and give you one little piece of advice. When you need to buy a bus ticket, the places that sell them do not say bus tickets sold here. They say tobacco. And I've got a picture here to show you what that is. And it's like a little tobacco shop, but they do sell the bus tickets in those. So wherever you see those, you can probably get your bus ticket. Then get back on the bus, remembering to give yourself enough time to get the bus ride back to the train station and to be there in time for your train. Make sure you know what time that train departs, because you don't want to miss the bus or the train. The trains only come every so often to these smaller towns. So be sure you have your schedule and that you give yourself enough time to get back to your train. In fact, give yourself enough time to go back and find the bathroom and then get on the train. We've talked about this before, but I don't think I can bring it up too many times to impress on you that bathrooms are very difficult to find. It's not like in the United States where you could just walk in most businesses and use their bathroom and they'd be fine with it. You don't use the bathroom over there unless you are buying something or you are their customer. And so public bathrooms are far and few between. So if at the train station, they're usually clean and fairly inexpensive. Sometimes they do cost. In this case, it was 0.60 euros. So it's worth it, though, because to have a clean bathroom with toilet paper. I would also suggest that you always bring your own toilet paper with you, just in case you are in a place where they don't provide your toilet paper or they charge extra for your toilet paper. Bathrooms are at a premium. I would get one every time you can, and train stations are a great place to find one. And remember the station that you need to get off in the city that you came for your day visit. If you're headed back to Florence, head back to Florence and enjoy the evening there. But this is surely a fun, relaxing, interesting place for a day trip. I hope you enjoyed our trip to Siena today. For more travel shows, tips, and destination information, visit us at scattertravel.tv. At scattertravel.tv, you can find places to book your travel, information and blogs on what to see and do in various areas, as well as have access to my personal travel agent to help you plan your next trip. Maybe it will be to Siena.